million a year pet industry, and I'd kind of like to get into that, but I don't want to start with an item that's not. I mean, we got the premium items meeting all the stuff there, so I'm just going to pick a premium item and go with it.
Yeah, people don't. Most people, I'm not talking about you guys, but realize that what the SKUs thing they can get out of that. That's a compound effect. Like, the more SKUs you have, I mean, unless you're Costco, who can set up a store and have a net 30 on payments and know that they only put stuff in the store that's going to sell in 30 days, and they can kind of set up a store for free, but that's not real life for anybody else. Um, so adding SKUs isn't just a plus one, it's a multiplying effect, not an addition. So, just start somewhere, and three's not really it just gets tough. You know, so what about you, Tom? I see you on there.
Hey guys, so I think my biggest win since the last time we connected, I had just received my laptop from Trey. Instead of the Mac Mini, he sent me this laptop. So I was in the heat of battle last time you were on, Sean, because I was you sent that link for the
Playbook
Product Hunter
guy.
plugin.
Yeah.
I got that all dialed in since we last met. Watched it. It was crazy cool to watch Claude take over my browser, run the report, add everything into the Google Sheet. It was spooky cool, man. So thank you so much for that. But I got that done, and much like Mark, I'm really close to launching my first funnel since the journey there in St. Louis. But I ran into all kinds of issues getting the pixel. My Facebook pixel was restricted, so I had to file for a review. And then my payment gateways, I'm connected on one piece, but not on PayPal. So I had to place a ticket for that. So I can't run ads yet for my product. But every day, just like you, Mark and Chris, I'm spending hours and hours trying to weed through this, submitting screenshots to Claude and being like, "This is what I'm seeing. I don't know what I'm supposed to click. Oh, that's cool. Go to this button. Go to this. Get this drop down. Check this, and then copy this code. Go back over to the funnel. Plug it into this head code text." I'm like, but
Yeah.
there.
So a couple things I want to make a note is when you're using I don't care what AI it is, it doesn't really matter. And you need like tech support. I don't know how outdated their model is. Like I know ChatGPT was always like 6 months behind. So what I do is I'll go to, like, if you go to anything, Stripe, PayPal, like it doesn't really matter. They their help center or like their API docs or like whatever. I'll just go to their site and get the like help.paypal.com or whatever, right? And I'll get that and I'll say, hey, this is PayPal's help center. I need you to go read all their stuff so you're updated on their stuff. So when I ask you questions, you're not running off of old knowledge. And sure as shit, it will freaking traverse and get through as much, the data. And then when you have the screenshot, it's not running off of, because I don't know how. I do it with Google. I do it with everybody. Like, I don't assume that it's like up to date with their API documentation or help docs. So when you give it that and give it the context of the situation, like, hey man, like I need you to get up to speed because I know that these models are fed the data, but it's not always up to date. And I don't got time to be chasing telling me to go here to do this that isn't there anymore, and it's because their knowledge base is outdated. So kudos to you. And the screenshots, these things have gotten so freaking good. at OCRing, meaning taking an image and breaking it down, that screenshots are by far your number one, like, so it gets to see it and read it, to be able to help you out. And it does it so quick. Like for me, when I go to, websites now, I use a Chrome plugin. I don't know if it's like full page capture. Not really sure, but I go to a page and I'll take it'll just scrape the page, put it into a PDF, and I put it into Claude, and it freaking reads. It doesn't need the source code. It doesn't need the HTML. It doesn't need anything. It just looks at it and knows what's going on. So screenshots or, PDFs of pages and stuff are by far your best way to get the most, accurate information. And trust me, sometimes I'm like I work with Claude and Replit, and usually I'm just like the middleman. But that's a good place for me to be, because, one is like telling you something, and then I use two, even though Replit's built on Claude, it's still like the way the models are set up. I honestly look at this as, having one tool and then using another tool as a second opinion, right? So today I went into Replit and I said, hey, on our smart deck, it's built for a one outreach, and I want to be able to have users do three. And I kind of just typed in this thing, and it gave me a really good output. But I was like, let me just take that same prompt, I put it into Claude. I was like, what do you think? Without giving it Replit's response. And then I just scraped it, put it back to Replit, and I was like, hey, this is what Claude says when I gave it the same prompt. Can you review this against what you had? And it was like, oh, this is pretty well thought out. If I look at two side by side, here's my updated recommendation. And I was like, go build it. But I'm just like a glorified like broker, like middleman. And honestly, I don't, if I'm in that spot, I know that something good's gonna happen. So yeah, screenshots for sure. Give it as much up to date data, as you can. And you'll hear me say this maybe on every call ever, but I always ask it, to ask me clarifying questions, or what questions. When I don't know, I tell it. I'm like, yo, this is where I'm at. This is kind of what I want. I don't know where to start. Like I did that today. I was like, I literally don't know where to start. And then it'll give you some ideas. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I got some direction. And I'll give it direction. And I'll just like, what questions should I be asking, or ask me any clarifying questions? And I would say 9 times out of 10, it thinks of stuff that I wouldn't have thought of, that, in the end would have cost me a bunch of time, to go fix stuff rather than having it built properly. It's like building a house, like when you get the drywall in and all of that stuff, it's a lot harder to fix plumbing problems, right? Because you got to take the drywall out, and it's a huge pain in the ass. So kudos to you for coming on it 2 weeks ago, getting that set up. And again, the only reason that Trey and I told Trey, I was like, dude, if you're gonna have people get serious about AI, co-work, having the thing do and run stuff for you on the same machine that you're working on, I was like, it gets too messy, and it interrupts. So give these people different devices so they can take care of my stuff and do it over here, while I'm handling whatever I got to handle, over in another place. So really, really, really good job. I mean, that's a win, because this tech stuff, when you're at the beginning, it's challenging, but I'll be honest, like I got my brother, up and running. And then yesterday he texted me and he's like, hey, I had Claude build out this, web page for WordPress. Like, do I just paste it into WordPress? And I was like, Anthony, why are you asking me, bro? I was like, tell Claude, like, hey, I want to build this now in WordPress. Here's my WordPress. I was like, and then just tell me, here's another hack. Like, give me instructions step by step. When I build stuff, I build it in phases. I'm not like, go and just break this thing down into phases or a sequence of tasks. And let's do them one by one. Because again, I don't want the drywall going up if there might be a plumbing problem. Because I already know from experience, it's a nightmare, right? So break things up, but kudos to you for getting, dude, that's awesome. Like,
I didn't know. I didn't know, Sean, but I had so many screenshots and so many questions in my prompt. I mean, it was a scrolling chat through Claude. And then today I get this notification that said, you're at 90% of your limit. And I'm like, wait, what? This is a paid subscription. I didn't know that there were limits. But apparently, if you go with too many screenshots, too long of a chat, too much information, too much horsepower behind Claude, it throttles you and puts you in timeout. So I was in timeout for 5 hours before it would reset.
Hold on. Hold on. There's 5 hour windows. Okay. So like I got paused out yesterday and it's like your 5 hour window. And I thought it was 5 hours. And I was like, I don't have fucking 5 hours. Like I'm going to have to buy credits. And then I looked at the time and the time was only an hour. So I was in the 5 hour window, but I only had an hour. So I was like, I'll just come back in an hour. But what happens is when you're in a chat, it goes and reads the whole chat again. And that's what uses up your tokens.
Oh.
So a pro tip is we call it AI hygiene, meaning like I'm just going to give you an example because you do not want to use AI. And can you guys see my screen?
Almost.
Hold on. All right. I don't know. Is this sharing? I have my rep lit up.
Not yet.
Yeah, we got.
There you
Okay. So it doesn't matter what AI system, what it's going to do is every time, see, I'm in this chat and I got previous messages, right? Every time I type into here, it is going to scroll up and reread everything above it as if everything is a part of what we're trying to do. And the longer this chat goes, the more expensive it's going to cost me. Replit doesn't have limits because every time I get an output, it charges me. So here you see it worked 3 minutes, 43 cents, right? But while I'm working on that one thing or that one project or whatever the case may be, like it is what it is. But the second that now it says it's fixed, I got to test it, whatever. But the second that I get done that one thing, I click this new chat up here and then costs go way down. The speed goes down because it's not reading. Like it's going to look at this screenshot each time, but I need it to because that's the thing I'm fixing, right? So it's called AI hygiene, and even if you're still working on the same thing, they say that once you get over like 50 chats, like you actually run the possibility of it losing like what we're trying to do here. So I try not to have it over like 20 chats before I just start a new chat. And it really doesn't hurt you at all. Now, if you're going to go do something that you want to do over and over again, what you do is you work in a chat, multiple outreach. I gotta clean this up. Now I took my wife got a care package yesterday from somebody she works for, had like $1,000 worth of like makeup and skin, blah, blah, blah. So I took a picture of it and then took a picture of my wife. It was like, hey, how does my wife use this shit? And like, can you just make her a routine? And my wife was like, this isn't funny. And I was like, doesn't matter. Like, it'll honestly. And then I took a picture of my daughter. I was like, yo, your daughter's 10 years. She doesn't need that stuff. But it created her a skincare schedule with the products that I just find this so goddamn amusing. And I only bring it up to get you thinking of like, to me, I'm so integrated with this stuff. Like, I think of it first, not like rescue me last, right? So it made her a beauty cheat sheet of a schedule, that I sent to her. But if there's anything that you're going to do more than once, at the end of a chat, what you want to do to not use tokens, so it has to reread this whole. Oh, I know where it is now. So let me get my projects, and I want to show you because this is super, super important. This is really, really important because the same output, because it's going to read everything. So what I do for our session summaries, so on my stuff, we have weekly calls that I take the transcripts from Zoom. And then yesterday I was able to put in 4 different calls, and I said, create me a session summary artifact that I can publish and a PDF for each of these transcripts one by one, because I didn't want them all together, right? I didn't want to read all 4 and make one. I was like, I wanted it. So each file is 4,000 lines each. Brand new chat. This is gonna land. So it went. It's like, okay, I read them all. Okay, so I get the gist, and then it gave me these 8 outputs from one prompt. And I'm going to show you how I did it because it's very important. From one prompt, and for each call, it made me a publishable artifact that I can publish and share on in my group. So it takes the calls, highlights people's wins, takes notable quotables, action items. It just summarizes the whole call, and it made a PDF in case people want to download it, right? So I made a PDF, but I did it from one prompt. The only way that it would know to do this same way for 4 different transcripts, blah, blah, is because I spent 2 freaking weeks coming up with what I wanted, how I wanted it format, how to look at a transcript, blah, 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 2 weeks. At the end of the chat, I said, hey, if I wanted to start a project where all I got to do is paste in a transcript and get this output, what would be the MD file? And an MD file, system prompt, master prompt, doesn't matter. I was like, I need you to create me a file that I can save to a project that all I got to do is paste in a transcript and I'll get the same output every time. And what it did was it created the file. I created this project, one file. Check this out. It created this file after 2 weeks of getting timed out tokens. It created its own, they call it session summary prompt here, but it created its own master prompt that all I have to do is paste in, and it'll follow these instructions every time and give me the same output every time with using next to no credits. So that's like next level and something that you want to do where it took you a while to figure it out and you want to do it again and not get timed out on a chat. Just have it create you an MD file, which is an instruction file, so you can save it to a project, and then you'll get the same outputs with literally 1% of the tokens. So I'm sharing a lot of pro tips here, and you guys will have access to, but this is the type of stuff that takes AI and turns it into, something that's quick, fast, cheap, and you don't have to like play around with the outputs all the time or make this revision or whatever the case may be. So I don't know why Zoom is just dragging my computer down, but ask it for a master prompt or whatever that you can save to a project, and it'll know exactly what you're talking about and create it for you. Do you guys have any
that's good stuff, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
got any questions about that? It's super easy, but it's also foreign. So
Well, like I was struggling with my permissions, and I finally asked Claude to go through the Mac and let's look at every single thing I need to say yes to and either say yes or help me to say it. But it's like you're saying, it's foreign. If we don't know the right questions to ask, we're not going to get the answers we need.
No, that's 100%. Tony Robbins, like, quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. And the quality of your AI is literally determined by the quality of the questions you ask. And because it needs context, it's like, I use this analogy, but if I got a chef in the kitchen, I was like, cook me dinner, it'll cook me dinner. But if I didn't give it any kind of direction, I don't know what dinner I'm going to get, but I'm definitely going to get dinner. If I say I want a keto friendly chicken dinner, it's not going to make me, ground beef. So once you give it that context, is like, I don't know where, I literally don't know where to start. It'll help you to like, be able to figure out what context to give it so you can, get started. But it literally is the smartest thing in the world. But if you give it bad inputs or wrong direction, it's going to go, think of it like a GPS, like, take me there. Where's there? Oh, this coffee shop in Lincolnstown. Oh, well, I got to look up the address, right? Until it has that address, your GPS is worthless. So, yeah, absolutely. And if you need help, just, be honest and just like, hey, this is where I'm at. Here's the context. Here's the outcome. I don't know where to start, but we need to get started. And it'll cut out 80% of, you being in complete control because you're not really sure. So, but look at this, like this markdown file, 1% of project capacity used, 330 lines of instructions, and I get the same output every time and not crashing my credits. So I would highly recommend when you're working on things that you want done over and over, or, again, to create a master prompt or a system prompt, save the file and do it in a project.
Sean, are you using mostly the Sonnet 4.6 or are you doing any of the Opus models?
Dude, I've only ever used what the hell the thing says to use. And I know now, because I get timed out on Sonnet.
Oh.
So, and I don't believe my tasks are that complex. Like, I don't think so. Like today, like I'm just, I don't know. Like now I did this in my folder or my project where I have a bunch of files about my software. So I know, so once you get to the next level, you'll start working out of projects because each project will have its own like knowledge, base or instructions. So you're not having to recreate, figure everything out. But I literally just asked it this question. And I was just like, what are our options? That's another thing that I do a lot because instead of trying to, I want options to then pick from to then start steering the car. But it gave me this output, and this is what I pasted back into Replit after Replit's instructions. And then I had, two surgeons say, this is how we should operate. And I'm like, it's good enough for me, let's go. So, but it wouldn't have been able to do this if I didn't have in this project. This project, I have all of my 4,000 words knowledge base. I have all of my software architecture pages. Like when I ask this a question, it's going to go to these files and not some long chat. And you see how they're like 150. It can read through that thing. It can reread all of this stuff like crazy fast and be able to answer my questions. So projects is kind of, the way to make the most. You will not hit timeouts if you have the right, files in your projects because it doesn't have to like, spend all the tokens trying to figure shit out.
And you don't say anything in the prompt to say, don't reread or look at and review all the screenshots. Don't reread all the
It
copies.
doesn't.
Just
It's going to do it anyway because it's
okay.
assuming that it needs that to further the conversation. Like there's no, you can tell it, but it'll just go do it anyway. And like it literally took me 2 weeks and many timeouts to kind of get that structure to where I could ask it for a master prompt. And now, like yesterday, where is it? Managing lead deck. So let's see. Does it have a timestamp here? June. No, dude, it did this in like all 8 files. I got done in less than 5 minutes. And I was just like, download all, and I sent them over to Josh. So, and from one prompt, right? Because it had the instructions already, because it, so it doesn't matter what you do. I would still get in the habit of working down a chat and doing all the trial and error and being like, you could also say, hey, if we were to start this chat from the beginning, what would be the master prompt? So it would only take one chat, and it'll tell you what you should, but you would never have known how to do that, right? Like you'd have never. So I don't want it to entertain me. I'm like, create this as a markdown file because I'm going to save it into a project so I can get the same output every time. And it'll freaking go do it. And it's like, I don't know. I've been doing this for, a good long time, and I'm still freaking impressed that it can do this kind of stuff. So, but just, I mean, even if you don't need Claude, I'd be using it just to like, get used to kind of be thinking AI first. Like Susan calls, she's like, hey, the kids, want to play the Wii on the new TV. And I'm like, we haven't played the Wii in like 10 years. I don't even know if my kids ever even played the Wii. And and I was like, send me a picture of the inputs and outputs so I can ask what adapter to buy. And I just like, yo, what should I buy? I was like, what adapter do I need to get at Best Buy to connect my Wii to a 75-inch TV? And it asked me, and I was like, here's my current setup. And then it gave it to, I was like, and all I said was, here's the pictures my wife sent me. Right. And it told me exactly what to buy. And I went to Best Buy, and the kids were playing, Wii when I got home.
I have that same adapter.
The RCA to HDMI.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, just AI first is just, it helps you build those muscles. So, the more you can use it. And I saw this funny meme. I don't know if it was on Twitter, but it was like, you haven't really, found your purpose in life unless you hit your Claude limits 3 times a day. So, anyway, so yeah, let's so you guys is there anything help you need with the plugin? Or do we want to talk more about, how we can use AI to help, some challenges you guys got
So
right
I have a
now?
question. Mark and I have been going back and forth on this one too. So with the blueprint you gave us last time, I've been messing around with the getting the product in, but when I get back over to the mini, should I just walk through that process you gave us to fix it, or should I just wipe it and start clean?
And Sean,
that's a good question.
Me and Tom will start communicating with you too. That's exactly what I was going to walk, because I'm busy too. Of course, we're both given that as a disclaimer because we know we should be coming to these already prepared, but it's true. We're all busy.
Oh, it's all good.
I found out I didn't have the headers and it didn't have the permissions. And so that's when I was just walking through, give me all the permissions. But that's my same question. Would it be better, because that's all this computer is for, to just reset the whole thing and do it from your list? Oh, another thing, Sean, it started trying to alter Trey's plugin code to go quicker. And I'm like, whoa. Hey, don't do that. You stick to what's in there. So I'm even suspicious of the way it's even set up, even though it's not all the way set up.
All right, so a couple things. One is that's rare, but totally freaking happens. Somebody sent me a screenshot of my tool. Like, I'm in this thing all the time, and it went and put a button somewhere because it assumed that it should go there too. And it can totally happen. Is it like on the regular that you need to be suspicious? No. But I will say that if you want it just super specific and not to see a squirrel, in Replit or anything where you're telling it to write code, like I'll tell it, replace this with this and change nothing else. Right? Like, don't go trying to get cutesy on my code here, because all I really want to do is this one thing. So I told Claude about that. This is so funny. I told Claude about it. I'm like, yo, what do I do here? And now a part of when Claude gives me instructions, it always ends with the instructions with, do this, ask me any clarifying questions, and do not change anything else. So it's like built into Claude's responses now to not go outside of the lane, like, at all. But the second thing is, you said, start from scratch. That is going to have nothing to do with permissions. And one of the things I said on the first call was, when Claude is doing stuff for the first time, it needs permissions, and it needs a lot more than you think it needs. So I always say, always allow, like, and they don't
Yeah.
let you just say, you know what, always allow everything, like, because then that totally defeats the purpose. So starting from scratch is not going to fix the fact that you have to sit there for 4 to 5 minutes and keep saying allow permissions. And then it's like, well, you don't have this turned on in your settings. And then you got to go up to your settings and toggle on, Claude permissions to do that. And honestly, when I hooked up my connectors to like my Gmail and Zapier and all the tech things that I have connected to my account, you only have to do it once. Just default to always allow. And I don't care how many times you delete and start new, like you're going to run into having to give permissions to Claude, but you only got to do it once as long as you say always allow.
Yeah, that's kind of the
So,
fence I was on. I was thinking if I just create a new project and start from scratch with what the process you provided us, I was thinking I'm going to get back to the same state that I should versus having to wipe it.
that is,
Because so the issues I'm having is it's going out, it creates the spreadsheet, it creates a Google Doc, it doesn't pull down the videos even though it tells me it does. Then I tell it doesn't. It goes, oh yeah, you're right. And so there's something fundamentally not set up from whenever we did it that first time versus it's really complete in that process you sent us.
And
And I'm not
Chris,
again,
losing
mine
anything by
mine
wiping it.
mine told me I was going to have to manually do the videos too. That's something I forgot to ask you and was hoping would get brought up in this call. So it said something
okay.
like there was some kind of permission that was read only in the document that we got. So it was trying to circumvent it or something.
Um,
And I don't know if
well,
that was video. That could have been some other permission.
if it's writing anything to the doc, it's not read only. So the read only might be trying to scrape it, and um, that may be a permission thing, or that platform kind of put up a because we used to when we scrape Zillow for sale by owners, Zillow then put up a wall that you had to verify that you were human, and then once you did that, you were able to use Claude to go scrape it, right? So the more and more people are using AI to go do stuff on other people's sites, the more that those sites are going to be like, is this a human? So, and if it's doing stuff in the background or in a tab, you might not even know that it got stuck on like a verification thing because it's a Zillow like pops it up. So unless you're on that tab watching it, you would have never even known that got hung up, right? And then the last thing I'll say is, all AI's whole goal is to like ChatGPT's goal is to please you. Claude's is to say that it got shit done, right? Um, so if you run into something like that, I would again just tell it, be like, hey, you said it was done. Here's a screenshot of my thing. It's not in there. Did did I need to give permission somewhere? Like, what happened? Because I did it today with Replit. It is my last freaking prompt here. It's like, I say, can you check? Oh, no, watch this. You just got to pay attention. So I was like, dude, I went back here, click this, and you said that this was working. And when I go to click, why is this not popping up? I was like, it's blank, dude. So either it didn't save to the database, or you're not pulling it, or it's not mapped. I don't know what it is, but like you said it was fixed. I go back, it's not fixed. So I just give it the screenshots, tell it what I did. And I said, I select manage team owner. It looks like it didn't save the team name and seats because the pop up is blank. What happened? And oh, two things happen here. Even though right up here, it was like, yep, got it. Yep, done. Like, no, it's not done. It thinks it's done because it probably did something, so it thought it was complete. But it was a mapping thing, so it was like it did it, but it still wasn't connecting. And I haven't like tested it out, but yeah, man, like you got to pay attention, and it can say stuff's done, and it's not because it probably went out tried to do something. There was a permission block, and then it just timed out and came back and said it was done, and it wasn't. So those permission things are like the only thing that you like need to kind of stay on top of, because you're the only AI can't grant permissions with your iOS settings or external websites. Like, it just is what it is, and you need to. So after talking out loud, I would say that I would not start from scratch, and I would get
Okay.
to the point and then clearly define with screenshots or context of like what happened, and just say what happened or what do we do to fix this, or whatnot. But because here's the other thing, the plugin code's not going to change. um like, I just don't know. um and I don't know if it when you delete stuff from Claude, if it completely wipes it out from all the memory. Um, so I would try to get across the finish line or fix anything as what you already got, and only start over as like a complete, last resort, because you still have to do the permission things correctly.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that makes sense. So we could even drop the plug-in again and say, you haven't changed anything in this.
Yeah, you could
Right.
totally do that. Be like, hey, this is what we started with, and I noticed you said you were changing things to make it faster, and I think it might have messed something up. Like, can you take a look at this and see if that's what happened? Like, you're literally talking to another, you know, person. Like, they're like, yo, dinner's done, but it's overcooked. You're like, what happened? Like, oh shoot, that's right. The buzzer went off, but I was out, mowing the grass. And you're like, well, it's burnt. Can you, make me another one? But you're literally like, just think of AI as, talking to a kid or a friend, and you're asking it to do stuff, and um, sometimes it's gonna, do its own, like, why are you cooking in the microwave oven and not the real oven? It's like, oh yeah, shoot, I forgot we had the oven. You know what I mean? It's like, because all us doing is trying to cook you dinner. So just pay a little attention. But I'm telling you, it's not. Um, you don't need a lot of babysitting, but you do need to, kind of be aware of the environment and pay a little bit of attention. Now I'm checking to see if this actually did this right, because this set told me 2 times now. Yep. All right, it worked now. See?
Nice.
So again, it's just, that's why I was saying, like, as much as you can use Claude, dude, you guys get for $20 a month, you get so many tokens, and your worst thing is being caught in a 5-hour window. Like, use it to learn it. With whatever, like, ask it for, dinner recipes, like, if you're running Facebook ads, take screenshots and be like, hey, I'm running a campaign, and what's this data telling you? Or freaking like, hey, look at my funnel, like, take a look at this page, here's what I'm trying to do. And I always, like, when I give it web pages, or like if I want to do something, I try to give it something to look at, like somebody that's doing it successfully. Like when we did our challenge, I took Russell and Trey's challenge, I took Joe McCall's challenge, and I took one other. And I was like, hey, these guys are running like 6-figure challenges, right? I want you to look at their pages. Here's my challenge. Tell me what, is applicable to me. Tell me what you think's works, what not works, what we could do better, blah, blah, blah. And giving it that reference point of something to look at just infinitely changes the quality of your outputs. So if you don't have pages, you can use, like, what would Alex Hermosi say? Or you can say, hey, I'm building a progressive web app, and you go on your phone and like, I really like Stripe, or I really like HubSpot. And you don't even need pictures of their stuff. And it'll give it enough context to kind of know, how to get you there faster, right? If you just say, oh, I want a progressive web app that's mobile optimized, like that is just a terrible freaking prompt. But if you're like, hey, I want, my web app to, be as mobile friendly as my 3 favorite apps on my phone, which are Instacart, Stripe Super Easy, and then like what other one. And I don't even need screenshots. It knows enough about them to kind of use them as the knowledge to then help me out. So
Yeah, that's good. It's something you said a while back, Sean, is we got to be careful. It'll tell us how great we are. So I was asking it questions. How do I get an answer not like prone to tell me I'm right? And it was saying when you ask the question, don't lean towards the answer that you want to have. I mean, if there's just ways to use it. I get tired of it. Oh, that's great. You're right. And I'm like, well, what if I ain't? No. And I've
well,
been like,
my daughter's 14. One of my daughters, she's 14. And I learned real quick, you don't ask her, what do you want for dinner? What you do is you say, hey, what would you like for dinner, A or B? So like you're like you want to be in charge of the outcome, and you give 2 options, A or B. Not yes or no, not I want to go to McDonald's, none of that shit, right?
yeah,
So it's just all situational. So if you don't know, tell it you don't know, right? Like, or if you like need something, don't try to again, like if you're making a 5-course meal, start with 1 course, knock that out, and then move to the next course, right? Because when it goes and does stuff, if you ask it to do 5 things at one time, it'll do them in parallel, which things can happen when you're doing, running things in parallel. So just AI first, but I would say just do a little bit of thinking first and be honest with it and focus on like one thing at a time. So it can concentrate. You concentrate it, it'll concentrate for you.
Hey, one question for all of you guys, Chris and Mark as well. I gotta leave for a meeting off site here in just a few minutes, but I'm wondering what your thoughts are with the product hunter and some of my own social media feeds. I'm just inundated with hundreds of reels saying, hey, you want to make a passive 40 grand a month? Go to this website, Calidata, pick this, go to TikTok shop, made me buy it, do this, paste it into this AI, and then it'll make an entire website for you. It'll do all the ads for you. It's pretty much just one click, and then your biggest decision is picking out what color Lamborghini you want. Is there any concern about the competitiveness of the product hunter and even within our own cannibalizing our own group to find like, oh, Mark and Chris and I are all doing the same power
No,
washer?
no. Here's what I'll tell you. Um, so in any market, you have 3% now buyers, and I don't give a shit what it is. If you're selling to real estate agents, you're selling to moms, you're selling it, like, it doesn't matter. Like 3% in the market to buy today, right? And then 10%, I'd say within like 30 days, because, I didn't run out of makeup yet, right? Like, I'm not ready to go get that new thing because, I'm not getting a new car until this one dies, like whatever, right? And then you have the time, which people buy when they're, have the ability to spend that little bit of extra time to buy. So if you think about it, that'd be like, Walmart competes with Costco, or Sam's Club competes with Costco, but they're in different locations. So usually the people that they're going to get, which is why they're not on the same street, like Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's, which are always across the street from each other. And it's because when you want chicken, you're going to get chicken. And it's like, what do you want today? Do you want Cane's or Chick-fil-A? And you're like, I had Chick-fil-A last week. So then you go get Cane's, right? Like, honestly, and that what you just brought up, that selling this dream with AI, that dream is a lot closer than it ever freaking was. But the principles of what they're talking about 100% apply. You can make websites. You can take somebody's website and get it and put it into an AI tool, and it'll clone Airbnb at this point. I can tell AI to clone me Airbnb and it'll make me Airbnb, but you guess what? I won't have Airbnb's customers, right? So, and Airbnb's inventory. But the point is, like, it's such a big world and there's so many different channels. Like, I'm only on YouTube. I only got into Twitter last week because I see all these people coming over for the World Cup and like sharing these videos of how much they like it around here, and they've been entertaining. But if you're on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. I'm more likely to buy from a YouTube person. And, I don't see it as any competition, but you do have to do more work than just let AI do everything, because that's just not reality yet. And if it is, these companies that have that ability would just do it them damn selves, But yeah, 100%. You go find winning products. You go look on their TikTok. You steal their creatives and you just model. It's never been easier to funnel hack, product hack, creatives hack, traffic hack, ad hack. Like, everything's open source now. Your job's to put the dominoes in a row and tip over that first domino. Like, that's where the skills are, not in, a winning ad creative, because TikTok just shows you their top winning ads. It's like, how do I apply it to this? And then ask AI for help with that. And these knucklehead, dude, I see it all the time. I mean, I go on Twitter and it's just like, yeah, you just go here, do this, 3 clicks, and, yeah, you're going to be a millionaire. And I was like, I've been doing this too long. I was like, now that software that clones that website, I'll look at, but I'm not buying that you can just, hack the whole process in 3 prompts. Like, it's entertainment. It's not reality yet, because we don't know what AI is going to be able to do here soon. But shit, AI now, I just saw that you can shoot your own videos. Like say I'm on a camera and I'm like, hey guys, I got this new iPhone. You should check out this app. And AI will take that video and make you like a hot chick. Same hand motions, different voice, but it's mimicking you shooting your own videos and then just changing the avatar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that software I want to check out, because I'm not that good.
I saw that same thing, Sean. It was somebody did the same thing and turned themselves into Einstein. So it does. It mirrors your every action, your facial expression.
I was blown away. Now, can you just do that and make $1 million? No, but you could certainly get your product and find a winning TikTok, model the script, the hook, blah, 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 shoot your own video and make yourself hot. Right. So that tool, I saved it as a bookmark, but that's just a part of, there's no magical pill, but there are certain ingredients that, yeah, you want to model what's already working. But anybody that tells you that you're 3 prompts away from $1 million funnel and it'll run your own, like, that's just bullshit.
Appreciate it. I got to run, guys, but thank you so much for your time, Sean. And I love seeing Mark, you and Chris on the Telegraph, and we need to connect offline so we can continue to motivate each other.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure, we will.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll see you
All right, man.
next time.
All right, Tom.
All right, see you, Tom.
Cool. See ya.
Bye.
All right, you guys are gonna have to give me a minute. I have to go to the bathroom.
We'll allow it.
Give me one. I'll be right back in a sec.
All right.
Yeah, Mark, if those
You know,
quick
it's
fixes
funny.
made you $1 million, I'd have been a millionaire 20 years ago.
Yeah. My brother, someone called him and was pushing Kalo data, same thing we're doing. And he got another credit card or, and then he just said his gut told him don't do it. I think they're onto something because but here's what I also think, like we already talked about, unless you take it to the highest level, it's only gonna be the level at. You might, like, my first idea getting into this I would sell a few things online for some extra money. I didn't have the vision of Ship Bob and $10,000 a day ads. I mean, Trey just like blew my mind.
Yeah.
But that's really where, if you're even going to do it, I mean, that's where it's at. All this, just sell a few things. It's, you know what I mean? There's 1,000 people doing that, and most of them ain't even doing it. They're just doing like my bro. Oh, that looks neat. Okay, next.
Well, everybody says, I mean, you hear all the coaches all the time will tell you, when people say, how do you get started? They say, well, where were you 5 years ago? And start teaching that forward. And so for the next 5 years, I teach you what I did the past 5 years. I've moved 5 years forward. I now have 10 years of experience. So I teach you the next 5. And so you can do that. But the problem with some of the software stuff is that they were very successful in that phase when that thing was popular. And now they're selling you on the theory, even though that may not be the current strategy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's just like paying people for SEO, and they're still doing the SEO from 2 years ago. It's no good anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, AI can do better SEO audits than people can do, and they're just gonna use software anyway. Oh shit, I'm on mute. Hold on.
No, you're good. We got you.
No, we can hear you.
I thought I was on mute. No, I mean, there's always going to be a gap in like the agency model because people are going to be better, faster, or smarter than you, and like you don't have the time to figure it out. So like, but SE like, but if you're spending the time and you got your handle on everything, man, AI can do some wicked, wicked stuff for you. And now you want to be SEO and AEO, but that's more of like that's when you get to the level of where you're like a brand versus a product, right? Like I wouldn't even be worried about that stuff when you're trying to get something off the ground or generate a winning funnel. Because in econ, the only things that people buy or that you actually have to sell is either a database of buyers or a brand. And if you have both, you're obviously worth, I guess you wouldn't have a brand if you didn't have buyers, but you kind of get the point. Like people don't sell for products unless you have IP. But brand something that somebody AI can't knock off, right? So, but yeah, dude, I honestly have only stuck to YouTube and I go to Twitter every now and then for those entertainment things, but I wouldn't touch, like TikTok, and they're way too hypey, and it's easy to be misled and distracted. Um, and that's all I gotta say about that. And honestly, they do a really good job of um, getting your attention and being like, and give you that fear of missing out. Like they're so good at it. kudos, kudos to you, but I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, just the amount of spam I get from them just for creating an account to look at what's hot. It's nuts.
Um, I mean, if you think about it, anybody paying for ads is worth, taking a look at. But the way that, like, dude, everything is just out in the, like, everything's out in the open. You just got to know where to find it, you know? Um, So if you do find those winning products, I wouldn't skip the step of going back out to the platforms of where they're selling it, and maybe go to their website and see how they retarget you. Like I wouldn't just rely on, the point of the winning product thing is go do the 80% homework so I can zero in on, say, 5 that I kind of want to choose from, and then from there, focus on those, and see how they're driving traffic, seeing what creatives they have. Basically is to give you the shortcut who to spy on, and gives you really good data to make that decision. But once you pick something that you want to run with, I would go spy on them to make sure that I have their whole, not ecosystem, but I'm looking at the whole landscape, um, and see if they're on different channels, right? So they've done a good job, these companies, of, like, if it works on TikTok, it'll work on Reels and it'll work on YouTube Shorts, right? Like, because it's the same native uh, format. Um, but it's like, I always like the retargeting. So I'll visit a site, check out their pixels, see where else they're driving traffic. And now I'm just a freaking legal spy. And then if I'll give an email to see what their emails are, I'll see if I get targeted. If I watch something here, do I, like, what's their follow up? Like, I don't know who it was that I ended up buying this supplement on Facebook. I was only on Facebook because I had to go message somebody when I was getting back from Italy, and then I just did some scrolling, and I clicked on this one thing, and I'm like, oh, because it caught my interest. I wasn't even paying attention really, and I clicked on it, and their retargeting follow up in the Facebook feed immediately was unfreaking believable. Like, they didn't even, like, follow you up the next time you jumped on Facebook. Their retargeting ads showed up like 3 posts down saying, hey, don't buy this on Amazon because that's not us. We're not on Amazon. Like, you got to buy from our store. And I was like, holy shit, they retargeted me in 3 posts? That is insane.
I need that retarget right there because that's what I'm
I was
fighting
like, but
here.
they got me. I
Yeah.
spent $100. They got me. Because then I was like, okay, don't buy it on Amazon. I still wasn't ready to buy. 5 posts down, it was a person saying, hey, I went and bought this on wherever, and it wasn't them. And then I went and bought it from them, and here's my results. And I was like retargeted like 3 or 4 times from just clicking that ad. And I was like, I'm sold. I'm buying now. And I went and bought. And I was like, that was the best like it was insane. And if they got me while I'm like purposely not trying to spend $100, like it was that good.
I still need to figure out how to do
So
retargeting.
I would literally, like, if I wanted to do that on we're not running ads right now because our challenge just ended, but I will totally be figuring that out for next month's of when people click and whether they sign up or not. I want to follow up with ads immediately, like 5 posts down. And I've never done that because I never knew it existed until I had it done to me. And now I'm like, I'm totally going to do that because it's like there's one thing to like follow you around the internet. And like now I see you on Fox News or Yahoo or whatever, right? Like that kind of retargeting's, awareness. But like while you're on the same platform scrolling, you're getting the retargeting right away. I was like, that's next level, and I want to do that.
Yeah,
And
because
I
I
ended
have
up.
I have the traffic. I need to figure out how to retarget them.
Oh, dude, so look at it this way: if you're converting at 3% on the first click, you're doing a great job because you're getting all the buyers that'll buy right now, today, at this time on this click. It's never greater than 3%. What retargeting does, so people have 3 options: do it now, do it later, or don't do it at all. Don't do it at all is 85%. They're just never going to buy. They're looky loos. They're curious. They're bored. Whatever. 3%, if you're like really really good, will buy today. That other 12% is where the retargeting comes in, and it's all about reminding them that they had some sort of interest and some sort of an intent, but and then to come back. And retargeting is super super cheap because it's an audience of one. Once they hit that pixel and it fires, you don't need all this algorithm and money and noise and get somebody's attention. They already showed intent, and retargeting's like super super cheap. Um, you just need a big enough audience to retarget to, right? Like, and then so anyway, retargeting is the name of the game because you have access to, at least over the next 7 to 15 days, 4 times as many buyers as your first click, and it's a fraction of the cost.
Yeah,
So
that's what I got. Like I don't know, my click through rate's at like 4.5%, 4.4% off Facebook, but I don't have any retargeting set up.
what is it selling?
These are just rechargeable LED motion lights.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, if you get 4% on the first click, your retargeting will do insanely well.
You're saying what do you mean 4% first click off the ad?
You're getting 4% of people that click for the first time ever, total stranger, to convert to a buyer.
Oh no, this is to get them off of
Oh,
Facebook. Yeah,
okay. All right, that's totally different. I'm
yeah,
saying that in any given time, 100 people that'll click your ad, 3% today buyers is like the cap. And then you have another 12% that you can pick up over time. And then
gotcha,
85% of them are just never going to buy. So you want to be retargeting for as soon as you can for like, I would say 7, 10, 14 days, 15 days.
gotcha. We'll
You
figure that
guys,
out.
anything else you want to discuss or kind of get my help with?
I think I'm good.
I
Yeah,
would.
I think I'm good too. Because everything you've told us, we can now take that to Claude for further details. I think the gold from this one was go get the API key and drop that in so we've got current interface. Because I call it looping. It's like, go here and do that, and it ain't there. And it's frustrating, and I just learned how to solve that. That's great.
Yeah, and it sounds like Tom, like he just kept taking screenshots of each step of the, like, you want to climb Everest, it's one step at a time. And he was like, I'm not gonna focus on the top because I don't got a freaking helicopter. Like, I'm gonna focus on one step at a time. And then when you run into something, it's a lot easier to focus on that next step than it is 10 things going on in parallel. And if something's not working, you don't know where it's not working because you're trying to do too much at one time.
Yeah, that's good.
So, but I will definitely do a session summary that I was showing you earlier for this call, and I'll try to get one. I'll try to go back and find 2 weeks ago's calls, and I'll be putting them into school now that I have access and the ability to post in there.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate you, Sean. I'm gonna be in at every one of these calls is my goal. It's rapidly increased learning, so I appreciate it. And then doing it, like you're
It's always
saying,
good.
use your
Yeah,
AI member, do it.
you can't learn to swim from a video.
That's right.
Yep.
Like, I did jujitsu for 3 years, and you can watch videos, you can study it, you can practice in the gym until you get into a real fight. You really don't know how much you do and do not know. So use Claude. You have a $20 plan, and you get so much. So I don't know of a better analogy off the top of my head, but fucking beat that thing like a running mule. Just to learn how to use it, because using it's going to help you. Using it all different ways is going to, help you move further faster, even when it comes to like the technical stuff, because like your brain has learned, like, the environment. um so and I really don't think you're a swimmer until they can plop you in the middle of the ocean. Like, so just keep jumping in the water and you'll get better real fast.
Good deal.
We keep jumping in, that's for sure.
Yep.
All right, fellas. Well,
Okay.
shoot me an email if you need anything, and then I'll get these session summaries in school for you guys.
Awesome. Always appreciated.
All
Yep.
right,
Thank you,
fellas.
Sean. Yep.
Thanks,
You got
Mark.
it, man.
See you, Mark.
All right. We'll see you next time. Yep.